I am Anil Kumar sharing with you an application question based on operations with mixed numbers. The question here is, at a fundraising car wash, Anil worked for 3.5 hours and washed 14 cars. Ben worked for 2/4 of an hour and washed 6 cars. Now, based on this information, we have 4 questions. How many hours did Anil and Ben work? That means you have to add them up, right? How long did Anil spend washing each car? How long did Ben spend washing each car? So when we are talking about washing each car, we'll take average time, right? So we'll say they took same time for each car and then you calculate the answer. D is, who took longer to wash each car and by how many minutes? Perfect. So you see, in question number 1, we are adding mixed numbers. In question number B and C, we are dividing these mixed numbers by whole numbers. And in D, we are subtracting mixed numbers. So in a way, we'll be understanding all the operations involved with mixed numbers in this video. Okay, so let's begin with the very first one. How many hours did Anil and Ben work? So that means total number of hours. So let me write clearly here, total number of hours. Okay, for Anil and Ben. Okay, so total number is by adding these two. Anil worked for 3.5 hours, Ben worked for 1/4. So what we are going to do? We are going to add 3.5 and 2, 1/4. So in this addition, there are different ways to do it. One method is you can add the whole number. So we'll talk about 2 different methods here. Okay, so we'll talk about 2 different methods. So one method is add the whole numbers, right? So we'll say method 1. For addition, both the methods are good enough. So in method 1, what you really do is you add the whole numbers, which is 3 and 2. So you say, well, this is 3 plus 2. And then you add these fractions, half and 1/4. Correct? So that is how you do it. So 3 plus 2, you get 5. And then you have to add the fractions. So to add fractions, I have to make same denominator. Perfect. I have to make same denominator. So half, I will write this as 2/4, multiplying both by 2. And here we already have 1/4. So that gives us 5 plus 3/4. Correct? And so what do we get? We get our answer as 5, 3/4. So this is one of the methods. Now let us see the other method. Other method is, let's say method 2. In method 2, we convert them to improper fractions. So first step is to convert to improper fractions. Now how do we do that? 3.5, you multiply 3 by 2 and then add 1. So you get 7. So 3.5 will be written as 7/2. This is 3.5. 3 times 2, 6 plus 1 plus 2, 1/4 will be written as 2 times 4 as 8. 8 plus 1, 9. So we get 9/4. Is that clear to you? Now we have fractions with different denominators. We'll make them same denominator. To make same denominator, I have to multiply this by 2, just as I did here. So times both by 2. So what do you get? 14/7 times 2 is 14, over 2 times 2, which is 4, plus 9/4. Now since they have the same denominator, we can add the numerators keeping denominator same as 4. So when you add 14 and 9, you get 23. Now once you get 23, this is improper fraction. So you need to convert to mixed numbers. Now you convert back to mixed numbers. Is that clear? So that this process requires conversion back to mixed numbers. So if you do that, what do you get? And how do you convert? 23 over 4, you do like this. You have 23, divide this by 4. Correct? Now 4 times 5 is 20. And you get a remainder 3. So you get 5 wholes, 3 out of 4. Do you see that? 3 out of 4. So you get exactly the same answer. Do you see that? So these are the two methods which you could use to add fractions which involve mixed numbers and improper fractions. Is that clear to you? Perfect. So for part A, which is how many hours did Anil and Ben work together? They work for nearly 6 hours, quarter of an hour less than 6 hours, 5 hours, 3/4, right? That means 5 hours and 45 minutes, right? So if you're converting to minutes, remember it is 5 hours and 45 minutes. Sometimes we may even ask for time in minutes, okay? So 5 hours, 3/4 of an hour is 45 minutes. Think about a clock, correct? So when you think about a clock, you know this is half an hour, quarter, 3/4. So up to this is 3/4. So 5 complete and 3/4 of an hour, that much. Perfect. So that is the total time they took. Now on a fresh page, let us answer part B, C and D. So now again we are working on the same question. At a fundraising car wash, Anil worked for 3.5 hours and washed 14 cars. Ben worked for 2 1/4 of an hour and washed 6 cars. Now we need to find time to wash each car by Anil. So let's first do time to wash each car by Anil. So it is 14 cars in 3.5 hours. So it is 14 cars in 3 1/2 hours. Now 3 1/2 hours is same as what? Write it as 3 times 2, 6 plus 1, 7. 7 over 2 hours. Is that clear? So 14 cars in 3.5 hours or 7/2 hours. When we say each car means one car in how much? So one car in 7 over 2 divided by 14. Clear? That much time Anil is going to take to wash each car. So now divide means what? Divide really means, we'll write this as 7 over 2 times 1 over 14. Now divide is reciprocal of multiplication. So you write this as 1 over 14. Now to multiply them, you get 7 on the top and 2 times 14 in the denominator. Best way to simplify is, we can divide both by 7, right? So if I divide this by 7, I get 1. And if I divide this by 7, I get 2. So I could write this as 1 times 1 and 2 times 2, 4. So 1/4 of an hour. Is that clear to you? So Anil takes 1/4 of an hour to wash each car. Is that clear? So each car in 1/4 of an hour. That means, so think about a clock when you're talking about all this, right? So this is your hour. So this is half an hour. So 1/4 of an hour is this much distance, right? So basically that much time he takes, quarter of, that means 15 minutes. Right? So whenever I'm saying 1/4 of an hour, it means 15 minutes. Clear? Okay. Now let's do the same calculation for Ben. Now in case of Ben, 6 cars in 2 1/4 of an hour, right? Now what is 2 1/4? 2 1/4 is 8 plus 1, 9, right? So 9 over 4 of an hour. So we'll just shift here. So 1 car in 9/4 divided by 6. So when you divide by 6, it is as good as multiplying by what? Reciprocal of 6. 1 over 6. Clear? Now, we could simplify this just as we simplified here. We can divide both by 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. Now we get the answer as 3 times 1 in the numerator, 4 times 2, 8 in the denominator. So we get 3/8 of an hour. Correct? We get 3 out of 8 of an hour. Is that clear? So, now how do we compare 3/8 of an hour and 1/4 of an hour? That is difficult. So what you could do here is think like this. 1/4 of an hour could be written as 2/8 of an hour, right? 2/8, and this is 3/8 of an hour. Now you can compare. We have the same denominator, right? So we have done part B and part C. Now part D is how much longer time, right? So who takes longer? Well, Anil is taking 2 out of 8 of an hour. Ben is taking 3 out of 8. So when you compare, this is longer. So longer by Ben. How much longer? We'll do the difference of the two, correct? So we'll do 3/8, take away 2/8. So 1/8 of an hour. So that means this much longer. So basically, Ben is taking how much time? We are going to now divide this clock not in 4 portions but in 8 portions. Do you see that? 8 portions now. So Ben takes this much time. This is 3/8. So how much more did he take? He took 1/8 extra. This much extra. Do you see that much extra time? By comparison. So that is how we can compare and show fractions of hours and minutes in this example. So I hope that helps. Perfect. So we understand how to compare fractions also. We understand how to convert them into improper fractions, how to multiply and divide them, and how to find their difference. I hope that helps. So I hope this video gives you a fairly good idea about how to add, subtract, multiply and divide mixed numbers. Feel free to write your comment, share your views, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for watching and all the best.